Welcome to Whiskey Gaming, and this is my late review of Dead Island 2 SoLA DLC. So in the world of Dead Island, SoLA is a music festival. And because it's Dead Island, unfortunately there are some crazy weird speakers, and when those speakers played a specific beat, it turned 30,000 people into zombies. And basically it's your job to figure out what this beat is and maybe try and stop it. Maybe it can cure things, who knows, but you gotta find out. And I gotta say, I actually really enjoyed this DLC. I thought it did a cool job of linking a few items in the house DLC to the greater world of Dead Island 2. They also introduced a new character, Grace, who it's hard to know if you're gonna like her or not. I would like more of that character to really understand the character and, you know, just in general. Hopefully there's more DLC with her, or if they do get to make a sequel, hopefully they get to make a sequel to this, and like a real direct sequel. She'll play a greater part in it. Just all of the stuff introduced in the DLCs, I would like more of to see how it ties in even more. But let's move on to the audio, and the first thing I'm going to say is I like the voiceover work. I think they did a really good job with the characters, keeping all the main characters exactly who they are, introducing the new characters. I think they did a good job with their voices. As for the music, I like the music. It's not all my style. Some of the festival music that isn't from the actual game is playing, and some of it's better than other in my mind. But overall, I enjoyed it. It worked. I think it definitely functioned with the game. And then you have the sound effects, which it keeps up the good sound effects that we've seen before, or I guess heard before, really. But either way, the sound effects are still awesome. They're just as gruesome as they were in the main game, which is a good thing for obvious reasons. Let's get into the gameplay mechanics and whatnot, and there really isn't a lot of change here. If you're playing this DLC, you've probably played Dead Island 2, and the gameplay mechanics are very much the same. They do introduce a couple of new infected in this game, which I liked and appreciated. I should say special infected. And straight out the gate, they introduced this one that like uses its intestines as a whip, and it's gruesome. And the first one you run into is definitely the hardest of those, but I thought they were a good new addition. I thought it was a creative addition. There's also these weird orbs that you did see in the house DLC that are here too, and they actually come into play as a gameplay mechanic in this game. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to mess with it too much, but I do think that was a neat way of doing things and tying the world together a bit more, even in a gameplay standpoint. But otherwise, it's the same stuff you're used to. If you're anything like me, you're probably a maxed out character, so you're really just kind of collecting weapons and stuff for scrap or to sell for money, because by the time I was in there, I had all the weapons that I really liked and I was kitted out the way I liked. If you're not at that point, there's nothing really new there, but you will find some decent weapons. I actually found a few orange level weapons that I really liked. But you get your basic stuff. It's a lot of killing zombies. It's a lot of running around. Not exactly solving puzzles. I wouldn't call it that. But they do keep up all the things you're used to. The dismemberment, just anything that you were used to in Dead Island 2, which you should obviously be playing before playing this, so you know what you're getting into from a gameplay mechanics standpoint. Then you've got the controls, and same controls. They're just as good. I have zero complaints there. Then you've got the graphics and visuals, and you know, I actually thought it was really well designed. I mean, this is still a good looking game. It's just as gruesome as I mentioned in the sound effects. The zombies are grotesque. But what I was really impressed by was the area. They did make it feel like this really crazy festival with all sorts of stuff set up, like almost its own little village is what it is. Because you've got bars, you've got the fancy rich area, you've got like these little private things, you've got like a private club for the ultra rich and shit like that. As well as they built a pool. Just like they built this really crazy festival, and I think they did an awesome job bringing that to life. But even going beyond that, the zombies themselves, the clothing they're wearing, the way they're dressed, the sunglasses, just all of that really fits with the whole festival vibe. You could absolutely see them as having been festival goers. The fact that they just put that effort into this is really impressive to me, because some companies would be lazy about it and be like, oh, okay, here's a new area, but here's all the same zombies you've seen before. Whereas they took the time to redress their zombies as festival goers, and it works and it looks good and they fit, which I just think is a cool and impressive element. If I had one visual complaint, it's near the end during what I will call the boss fight. The world's kind of going crazy. There's some crazy colors that make seeing certain threats a little more difficult than you'd like. There was an area where there was a lot of toxic ground, but I couldn't see it because of the lighting at the time, and it killed me and I had to restart the boss fight. So I wasn't necessarily in love with the lighting there, and I think they could do something better with that. But overall, visually, it holds up to what we've seen in every way, shape, and or form. And as I already discussed, new infected type, I thought they did a really awesome job with them and their design, and it's good. I really like what they did. So to get into the wrap up, this isn't a long thing. It's a DLC. It's not crazy long. I wish it was longer just because more Dead Island 2. If you were into Dead Island 2 at all, I think this is worth playing. I really enjoyed it. I think they did things that they didn't necessarily need to, but any company doing this should do, and they just added more to the world, and it gives me more Dead Island 2, which is what I want. So yeah, I recommend this. I have zero problems recommending this. I need more DLC for Dead Island 2. Okay, in the comments down below, why don't you tell me, have you played Dead Island 2? Have you played the House DLC? Why haven't you played these if you haven't played these? And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, share and subscribe. Have a good one.